Welcome to your first SMF experience. This will be your very own instructional tape. Listen closely and pay attention to the screen. Here are some rules to get us started. Rule number 1. Check your surroundings carefully and thoroughly. Rule number 2. Grab your snacks. Rule number 3. Enjoy the video.
So this definitely, this definitely doesn't have any correlation with Spooky Scary Sunday at all. It's called Scare Meer Friday. For me, for Mir, and you guys, the audience, we watch videos, scary videos together. It's not Spooky Scary Sunday. If you want Spooky Scary Sunday, you gotta wait for Corey Kenshin.
Hold on, let me swing on him.
If you're a fan of mine, this is a new series. We watch videos together and we just chill. Y'all boys go get your snacks. I say get your snacks. I don't know why you're sitting there. You still want to sit down? Okay. Starve. Let's get to the first video.
There's a man in the woods.
Yes, sir.
What a spectacle. Before the stories started, this school was still respectable. My students used to skip down the hill to the honeysuckle, pluck a couple, and collect their nectar till they picked their fill. Except one obnoxious kid, Sid, who just watched them eat the flowers.
Sid looks bad as hell. What the hell?
Scowled because he couldn't bear to share his sweet treats throughout our recess hour. I remember Sid saying, "There's a man in the woods."
Shut up, Sid.
That's how the rumors began. Of course, Sid had spotted him first. The poor kids. He got him immersed in his spiel about a serial killer whose gun barrel glint hints at peril. A visit to the nurse, or worse, a hearse, waiting just beyond the dale. The children saw him everywhere. "Look, over there. That man had Batman ears, we swear, and crazy yellow eyes. We saw something rusty. His shotgun? It must be. I saw a lady's severed thigh."
Hey, this man's spitting hard as hell right now.
I heard was absurd. Yet each day, Sid would stray down way past the playground. Who else was brave enough to save us from the killer's next plot? The rest of the lot would stop back at the blacktop, sure that any closer they were bound to be found deep in the woods, left to rot. I pleaded for the kids to think and learn to be mature, but after a few more rumors doomed my attempts to prove the school was secure, their fear was undeterred, and when the buses drove them all home, the parents finally heard. Everything just blew up. I received a wall of emails and calls full of shrieks, wails, and all from terrified families who'd heard word of the murderer and didn't like my lack of action at all.
Bro, this man is spitting. You guys not hearing him. I don't know who the voice actor is, but this man is going crazy.
What was I supposed to do? Comb the whole forest? Yeah, right. Would you? That means I didn't care? That's not fair. The stories that worried you weren't true. Of course I would feel regret had there been a real threat and I ignored it, and some poor kid got kidnapped while the kids were napping. But you couldn't admit that your good little kid would formulate a fib, so you ignored what I said. Your little angels could never cook up such incredible creations. An overactive imagination maybe, but my kid could never lie. How dare I? Accuse a child of being dishonest? Just monstrous. The parents were displeased, and when the PTA took action, they dismissed me from the classroom. Like they knew what was best for their kids. Do you know how difficult it is to get a job when a bitter mom slanders your rep with child neglect from the outset? Now who's in control of your classes? Single file lines? Single file lines. Little file swine, a killer by the pines. Really? Are you blind? Will you find your spines? Sid, a child decides to fill our minds with lies, and the next thing you see is people treating me like I'm committing crimes. I was in my prime.
He's gonna be the man in the woods.
We're lucky to have me. Do you see what you did? But I can play along.
He's gonna be the man in the woods.
I can be good. Do you hear that, Sid? There's a man in the woods.
Wow, that was crazy. that was a tough first animation, bro. I'm not gonna lie. There's a man in the woods. 10 out of 10, bro. We're starting good so far. Let's get to the next one. Mr. Friend. Let's get to it. Nightingale.
Far away from Earth, through the cosmic rift, alone in space, does the Nightingale drift. At the edge of our solar system, a rather long trip. Amongst the bright shiny stars,
You got more rhyming?
one man fixing his ship.
We got more rhyming, yes sir.
Ah, that seems to have done it. Time to head back now.
This is Play-Doh, by the way. Like, they had to construct the Play-Doh for every movement. I wonder how long this took, bro. Because he's literally made out of Play-Doh. Or like clay, whatever.
Well done, John.
246.
Another good day of work.
Who's that? Is this his partner? Oh, that's his wife and his kid. He's been up there for over a year. Well, almost a year. Damn. What, that's his wife and him? What it looks like. Or is that somebody else?
Are you
That's
doing
him,
okay
right?
back there, Molly?
Yeah, all right, that's him.
Yes,
That's him.
Daddy. Mr. Hutchins and I are having ever so much fun.
Your daughter sounds like a grown man, by the way.
What's that? You want to play with Daddy?
Whoa, what are you talking about?
Mr. Hutchins wants to play together with you.
No. If my kid's toy is talking to my daughter, that toy has to go. I'm not.
Oh, does
That
he
toy
now?
has to go, bro.
Well, tell Mr. Hutchins that once we get to Grandma's, I'll be sure to...
My whoa. They're dead. Yeah, she's dead, bro. But hanging out the window, oh gosh. She's dead, bro. Oh my gosh. Yo. What happened to the other car? He just dipped? Hit and run? You gotta keep the bunny with you, bro. What happened? Oh my gosh, her. Wow. This is partially his fault, bro. Whoa. Oh, that was a dream?
It appears you've had another one of your bad dreams.
So he's just in this spaceship
That
alone,
door
bro?
was definitely closed before you fell asleep.
Hey, something in here, bro. Hey, you're just alone in space, by the way. I don't know.
John went over to the door. It was very dark.
Not that dark. What the hell are you doing on my ship,
What's
sir?
that? Mr. Hutches?
Ah, hell no. Be mad, bro. You killed her and her mom.
Huh? There isn't supposed to be anyone else on this ship.
That's not your little girl, bro. That is a demon. Whoa. Nah, bro. Nah. That is a demon. Why are you still going over there? You didn't see her just like turn her head 180 degrees? That's not normal, bro. What are you doing right now? Wow.
What the?
That's your daughter, bro.
Molly?
Don't hug me.
Don't leave me, Daddy.
Yeah, he's dead, bro.
Where's Daddy's arm? What? What's going on?
You're still alone in space. You have nowhere to go, bro.
What's happening?
Yes, a gun. Pick it up, bro. What are you doing? Just start blasting, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Just start blasting.
You are not her. Don't you recognize my voice? Please, Daddy, come back.
Wow.
No, please don't.
Oh. And this man doesn't have a helmet on. He's dead. Yeah, he's dead. He was in the hospital the whole time. And now he's dead, right? Yeah, wow. Wow, bro. That's crazy. That's actually crazy. Clap it up, bro. Clap it up. That was a good second video. What you're saying is he was like in a coma the whole time and he was just dreaming about him being in space and like how he saw his daughter. He was just reliving the same moments over and over. But he was actually on his deathbed and then he just died. He flatlined. That's crazy. On to the next video, man. All right, for today we got Other Lily by Let's Read. 6 minutes, shouldn't be that long. Let's get to it. It's a nice little animation art style. Make sure Beth goes to bed before 10 by Dad. And that was 9:50. That was like 2 hours. Come on, bro. All right, she sleep. She watching her. Whoa, hold on. What is that? What is that? What? We gotta watch this kid, man, because she got this and then she got a painting or a drawing up here. Nah, bro. Nah, bro. I'm telling you, like, these kids be crazy nowadays. What does she draw? Don't. Lily. Me. Other Lily. Yeah. Yeah, bro. That's time. That's time. That's time, bro. I don't know what that was, but that's time. That bat about to come in handy, too. I see it on the side. What's that noise? All right, 3 hours went by. Please don't wake. No. What's that noise? Oh, sleep paralysis. Damn. Oh my gosh. And she's right next to her window. That's Beth, right? Why is she running? What? Ah, what is that? No. I don't like this. Yeah, wake up. But your door phone is glitched. Turn around though, turn around. Yeah, turn around. Grab that bat. Yes, sir. Grab that bat. Where bet that, bro? You gotta turn these lights on. Turn some lights on. Feel safe. Yo, look at how dark it is. You need some lights at least. Come on, bro. In the window. Damn. How'd that break open? Oh! Is that Beth? Don't tell me that's Beth. That's Beth, isn't it? Oh my gosh. I knew it. No, bro. All right, never mind. That's just a fake. Oh, Beth just woke up. What the hell? 3 a.m. So they woke up or like around the same time. You better go to Lily. Lily not gonna be there. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Turn around, Beth. Beth, turn around. I know what happens. That breaks, right? This is before, yeah, that breaks. So this is before Lily went down there. Wow, bro. We just saw 2 point of views at different times. That's crazy. That was good, bro. That was very good. I'm not gonna give it a 10 though, because it was short. It could have been longer. That's the third, bro. Third video. So far, we doing good, bro. Yeah. Let's find the fourth. Let's watch the fourth together. Y'all boys better have snacks. I wasn't kidding when I said if you don't get snacks, you're gonna starve. Because this video is probably gonna be like 4 videos. This is probably the last one. And this is gonna be a very long one. Let's get to the next video. All right, the next video we got is Pine Creepers.
95. I was 13 that year. A heat wave had set in, making it one of the hottest Julys on record.
Yes, sir.
The house I grew up in on Lake Michigan didn't have air conditioning.
Wow.
Most of the time, that was fine. At night, a breeze would come in off the water, so just an open window was usually enough to cool things down and sleep pretty comfortably. But not that summer. That summer was different. Some of my friends and I had taken to camping outside to try and escape the heat. Jordy Baker, Augie McLean, and me.
Remember those names.
I don't know if it really made all that much difference. I think maybe we just liked being together. That made it easier to get through. I can't remember the first day I met Jordy. We lived on the same street in our small town and we did everything together. He was my best friend. It felt like it had always been that way. Augie was a quiet kid back then, but you wouldn't know it when we were alone. So much so that his big mouth got us kicked out of my backyard. Dad had to be up at 5 for work, and he didn't exactly appreciate Augie's high-pitched laugh the same way Jordy and I did. There was a clearing in the pines behind Jordy's house where we used to hang out sometimes, so we decided to set up camp back there. An old, rusted-out Buick Century marked the spot. I always wondered whose car that used to be. Back before it became part of the woods, I mean. Thinking about it now, I'm not even really sure how it got out there through the trees in the first place. We'd cleaned out the broken glass and the cigarette butts left behind by the neighborhood teenagers, and we made a fire pit out of one of the wheel rims Jordy managed to pry off.
Huh?
The
What?
mosquitoes out there were ruthless at sundown, and dry, prickly needles covered the ground in a thick blanket under the trees. The only thing I hated more than that feeling under my feet when I wasn't wearing any shoes was the crunching sound they made whenever I was. It wasn't all that cozy of a spot, but at least it was private. A place far enough away from the rest of the world that we could stay up all night laughing and no one would care. Jordy had skimmed some beer from a case in the basement that his dad was working on. 4 bottles of lukewarm lager to share between us. Not exactly a blowout, but not enough that Mr. Baker would miss him either. I don't drink much beer these days, but even just the smell of it always brings me back to that night.
Where'd the third one go?
The hours slipped past as we stoked the fire, talking about nothing in particular.
Where's the other one at?
That half a sip of beer must have gone right to Augie's head as he called it a night pretty early on without even finishing 1 bottle.
Alright.
We didn't mind. More for us. At some point, Jordy brought up what happened to Pike Lister. Pike was 2 grades ahead of me in school, and he'd probably failed a couple on top of that. He was big, and everybody was scared of him. On a Friday, that past November, Pike left school after his usual extra hour of detention to walk home. And that was the last time anybody saw him. The search lasted for weeks. They never found anything. Some people said he just took off, ran away from home. Others thought he might have drowned in the lake accidentally.
What?
Not Jordy, though. I listened quietly as he laid it all out. How his dad said it wasn't the first time something like this had happened around here. How back in the 70s, 4 people disappeared without a trace. And how around that same time, locals had started seeing something in the woods that wrapped around our town. Pale creatures with large eyes and long limbs creeped around on all 4s. The pine creepers.
This sound like skinwalkers to me, bro.
That's what we called them anyway. Jordy figured that's what happened to Pike. The pine creepers must have got him. I laughed him off and eagerly changed the subject. We ended up burning a couple more sticks before letting the fire die and heading to bed. One of us could take the back of the Buick, and the other had to sleep in the tent with Augie. To call it a 2-man tent was being generous. I offered to bite the bullet, or at least that's what I let Jordy think. I'd never admit it at the time, but the truth is, all that talk about the creepers had me a little scared.
It's only 2 of y'all, so
Augie's
just sleep
snoring
in the
and
tent
spooning
together.
seemed like a fair price to pay if I didn't have to be alone outside. After all, if they could take Pike Lister, what chance did any of us have? I'm not sure what time it was when I woke up.
Alright, they are sleeping together.
It was still dark out, and I could hear rain coming down outside. For the first few minutes, I just laid there, listening to the steady sound of the drops against the tent. It wasn't long before I realized that beer had gone right through me and I wasn't going to be able to hold it. I fumbled around until I found the lantern and I made my way outside. The night air had cooled down a bit with the rain, which felt nice.
You don't gotta go too
The
far
whole
from the
sky
tent, bro.
was
You can
clouded
piss right
over,
there, bro.
blocking out any light from the moon or the stars. My eyes finally started adjusting to the dark. That was when I noticed it. Something catching the light just beyond the edge of the clearing. A dim, reflective shine that flickered as I moved the lantern. It took me a second to realize what I was looking at.
Nah, go back in the tent.
Eyes
Or just
watching
run.
me.
Just run. I'm not
It
gonna
was
lie.
hard to see much of what those eyes belonged to. I knew what they were. Pine creepers. My pulse pounded in my ears as we stared each other down. I carefully started backing up, never once looking away. I wanted to turn and run so badly, but just kept slowly taking one step after another.
Yep, go back in the tent. Wake your friend
I
up,
got
bro.
back into the tent as quickly as I could without making much noise.
Turn the light off.
Maybe if I was quiet enough, those things would move along. I thought about waking Augie, but didn't want him to freak out and draw attention to us. Seconds passed. Nothing. The rustling of the trees and the calm drone of the rain.
Bro, wake
Just
Augie
as I
up.
started to
What?
think
What?
that maybe I'd overreacted, maybe my mind could be playing tricks on me, it started. That familiar, awful sound. The crunch of those needles. There was something moving around outside the tent. I did my best to hold my breath. The worst part of it all is I knew Jordy was out there.
Oh yeah,
alone.
Jordy's cooked.
I kept
He's in the
telling
Buick.
myself he wouldn't wake up.
He would.
He was safer in the Buick. That I should stay still, stay quiet. I laid there, and I kept listening for what felt like forever. I was too scared to do anything else. I never woke up Augie. I never called out to Jordy. I never did anything.
That actually kept him alive.
The hours passed, and I must have fallen asleep for a few minutes because the next thing I knew, the birds had suddenly started chirping, and even from inside the tent, I could tell it was getting light out. I gathered any bit of courage I had, threw the sleeping bag off, and gave Augie a shove. I climbed out of the tent first, but he wasn't far behind me. Part of me believed that the pine creepers were still out there,
Check up on
just
Jordy.
waiting for me to slip up.
Why is your
When I
friend
saw
balding?
the
You guys are
Buick,
like
I got
15.
this awful feeling in the pit of my stomach.
Oh.
It was empty.
Oh my
Jordy
gosh.
was just gone. On the way back to his house, I kept telling myself, we'll find him there. He just got up early and he wanted the comfort of his own bed.
No, he's gone.
He wasn't there. We waited around all day, but he never came home. By the evening, our whole town was in a frenzy looking for him. I never told anybody about what I saw that night. Not even Augie. Nobody would believe me anyway. I've played it over and over in my head. I'll never forget the summer of '95. That was the year Jordy Baker went missing.
Damn, bro. record videos for the first SMF episode ever. This as I said at the start, this is definitely not Spooky Scary Sunday. This is definitely not inspired by Corey X Kenshin. Yeah. Hope y'all boys enjoyed the series, man. I'll be back next Friday. Hope you guys can start sending me submissions, or I'll just keep finding them myself. I mean, I don't mind. Yeah, hope y'all boys enjoyed this little video. It's the first episode, y'all. I'm gonna bring it back next Friday. Yes, sir. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. I don't care what you guys say. I'm gonna continue this series anyways. Make sure to like, subscribe, turn on notifications. I'll appreciate it very much. Peace out. I love ya, boys.